I'm making this recipe of clams oreganata mainly because I looked at my on YouTube and I don't have one for clams. And the second reason is I'm making it the easiest way possible for anyone watching this video. I don't care if you're a professional or not. And there's a little secret here. These are the ingredients. Excuse me. Fresh Italian parsley, grated cheese. I have shredded in the refrigerator, and that's what I'm using today. Fresh garlic, panko breadcrumbs, or you can make your fresh breadcrumbs. Unseasoned. Now, there are the clams. Don't use cherry stones, only use little neck because they're more tender. And that's what you want when you're having baked clams. Now, as you see, the clams are open. And this, pardon me, and this was so simple. I know it's very difficult for most people to open clams. Be honest now. And those who open them can do it, fine. Ignore what I'm doing here. How did I get these open? I put them in the freezer yesterday, and they took them out of the freezer this morning. And after they start to thaw, they open. So all you have to do is just finish it off a little by just come on, look how simple that is. And does that clam look like it was abused because it was in the freezer? Not at all. One night in the freezer is not going to change anything about this clam. So look at that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the mix, and I'm only making one clam now. That's for me to eat now. And the reason being, you have to make these, you have to cook them, and you have to serve them right away. You can't have clams sitting around and think that you're going to reheat the clam and have a nice dish. It's not going to work. So the prepping part is simple. That's the first part. So this is out of the way. Most difficult is shucking the clams. The next thing, you need the right amount of oil, butter, or all olive oil, virgin. So there's the butter, and there's the oil. Into that, I am putting the fresh chopped garlic. And all we're going to do is put that on a very low flame and allow that to melt, and that's going to be done. So the next thing will be for me to add into that the oregano, the dry oregano, or you want to use fresh, that's fine. I'm using dry, which I don't even have on the board yet. So, and since it's oreganata, it would be important to have the oregano here. So allow this, we're not going to cook this, we'll just allow it to melt. Once the butter is melted with the garlic, just shut that off. So it just started to bubble like that, shut it off. That's done. Now into this, we're going to put the dry oregano, the pepper, the breadcrumbs, the parsley, and only use Italian parsley. It at least has a flavor, where that curly parsley really doesn't have much. And I'll wait a few minutes for the cheese. Now we'll mix this up. Salt is not necessary, because we all know clams are salty. Now I've made this dish so many times over the years, but the only thing that I haven't done is make the recipe for it. So because I don't need the recipe. But in order to show people what to do and how much of each item, I have to make a recipe and it has to work. So, now you taste the breadcrumbs. The amount of parsley that's in there is good. It's not parsley, I mean, you shouldn't have more parsley than breadcrumbs, so the amount is good, you can see it. And now you just taste it. Put a little in your hand. That gives you the idea of what this is going to taste like. So I do taste the garlic. I taste the oregano. Now I put the cheese. And I do taste the pepper. Now, when this is on the clam and you bake the clam, you're not eating this straight. It's mixed with the clam, so if this is strong in any way, it'll be cut by the clam. So there's the mixture. And there's enough grease, I call it grease. You've got butter and oil in there, fat. You need that in order to get a nice crunchiness on the top. So now I'm gonna get the clams ready and turn my oven up to like 450. That was so easy, it took me just a couple of minutes. You know, I removed the muscle on the top piece, and then the bottom didn't have to do anything. So now we'll use that teaspoon measure. And that's it. Just put a teaspoon of the mix on top. Press it down a little. Continue like that. And I have my oven up, like I said, 450. And then I'm going to make one. Just one, because I have to put this in the refrigerator and then cook them up later for dinner. So I finished all the clams. And this is what's left. So my calculations for only one item was a little off. We'll leave everything else the same. And I'll just make, instead of 1 cup of breadcrumbs, 3/4 of a cup. And this, well, what am I going to do with this? Very simply, I'm going to wrap this up, put it in the freezer. Next time I get a piece of fish, spread it all over the top and bake it off. This is what it looks like after 12 minutes. But I want more crunch on the top, so now it's going to go under the broiler. All done. Now all I have to do is just taste it and make sure. I guarantee you, you will enjoy this. It works great.